defibrillator is located in the lower foyer on the left-hand side of the front entrance. Now, to open our meeting tonight, we welcome WRRA, who will lead us in a short karakia.
Kia ora whānau. Me noi tātou, let us bow in prayer. E te atua, e honore, e kore ki a koe, ko koe, ko I hoa. He maungarongo ki te whenua, e whakaaro pai ki ngā tāngata katoa. Noho tōne mai, Whanganui I mātou, manaaki tia, arahia I mātou. I mātou ki te whakarongo, ki te rongo pai. I a rātou e tū mai ana ki te patātu I o rātou whakaaro, I o rātou hiahia, kia pai te kōrero, kia tika te kōrero, kia taia ki te whakapatātu o rātou whakaaro. Me moi ia mō te hāpori o Whanganui. Kai noi mātou tēnei kia koe I te atua. Father, we pray and we honour and glorify you, Jehovah. We thank you, Lord, for this evening. We ask that you sit with us, that you watch over us, that you guide us. Give us good ears to hear and to listen. And may you help those who are presenting to speak clearly and say the things that they want for our community of Whanganui. We pray this, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Tonight is a very important night. Never before has the choice of who we elect to local government been more important. Central government is exerting unprecedented pressure on councils, directing how resources are spent, encouraging amalgamation to larger unitary authorities, and pushing costly upgrades of failing infrastructure on many regions that simply cannot afford. With the country coming out of recession, the financial strain on authorities and ratepayers is immense. And that's why these elections matter so deeply. The people we elect now will shape our community responses to these challenges. For more than 50 years I've followed local government, and I can honestly say this is the most critical election I have seen. The Whanganui Residents and Ratepayers Association have a clear role to help voters make informed choices. We are not partisan. We do not promote individual candidates. Instead, we provide information on the qualities that make an effective councillor and share resources such as our voting matrix, which many of you have tonight. The matrix highlights the 12 attributes that voters have told us that they most value in councillors. If you haven't already got one, maybe at half-time, please take one. We hope it helps you weigh your voting choices carefully. My name is Warwick Fennell, and I'm your moderator for this evening, assisted by our dedicated committee. In particular, I would like to acknowledge our chair, Rachel Woodhead, and Rachel's not only the chair, but also the timekeeper tonight, an invaluable source of energy and common sense. I'd also like to thank Tim Stubbs and Graham Holloway for their tireless support throughout this campaign. The Ratepayers Association is a voluntary body, but our work does carry costs. We would encourage you to become members. And membership forms are available tonight, and we do encourage you to join. Subscriptions are just $10 a year, and donations are also welcome, and there's a collection box available should you wish to contribute. Your support allows us to keep working on your behalf. Above all, thank you for being here tonight. And thank you, candidates, all 23 of you, standing for 10 ordinary seats. It's no small task to put one forward for public office. It requires courage, commitment, and a genuine desire to serve the community. And while we may not agree with every position, we must treat each candidate with respect. Remember the old saying, play the ball and not the person. And just as a little add to that, folks, I will make sure that that happens this evening. This evening, each candidate will have 90 seconds to present the main focus of their platform. The speaking order has been drawn at random to ensure fairness. A bell will sound at 1 minute and again at 80 seconds, and finally at 90 seconds, where the candidate will be asked to finish their sentence and retire. After all candidates have spoken, we will have an intermission for 15 minutes. Then move to questions which have been submitted in advance. And to ensure fairness, each question will be answered by 2 candidates with 1 minute allowed for each answer. Between the 2 responses, or during the 2 responses, we may also solicit a response from the floor. But if you are asked from the floor to give if we're seeking responses to that particular question, and you wish to reply or add to the question, please raise your hand. On the second Meet the Candidate session will take place on September the 9th. On that evening, we will hear from those standing for the Maori wards, the Risings and Regional Council, and the Mayoral team. I have some apologies. Ross Fallon has fallen ill and unable to be here this evening, as has Mike Tweed from the Chronicle. They send their apologies for not being able to attend this evening. Finally, a note about our first speaking candidate, Glenda Brown. Glenda has asked me to explain that she is currently overseas supporting a family member. She has apologised for unavailability and submitted her presentation statement, which I will now read on her behalf. My name is Glenda Brown, and I'm proud to stand again for the Whanganui District Council in 2025. Sincere apologies for not being present. I am overseas supporting family. Whanganui has been my home for over 35 years. My husband, David, and I have raised 3 children here and now enjoy 4 wonderful grandchildren, making 4 generations of our family proud to call Whanganui home. I have been in business for much of that time, from running a local building company for 20 years to co-founding a national company focusing on energy-efficient housing. Whanganui has given us a safe, supportive community to live in and grow in. My values are simple: integrity, professionalism, respect and courage. I listen, I value people equally, and I'm not afraid of a challenge. Why am I standing again? Because the community and business are my passions. Both are vital for a thriving city. Strong businesses create jobs, support family, and build resilient communities. As a councillor, I bring both a community lens and a business perspective to decision making, always focused on the future, not the past. If you choose to support me, I promise to serve with integrity, to work collaboratively, and to present you with honesty and commitment. Thank you from Glenda. So now we are able to move to the first speaker, which of course is going to be Philippa Baker-Huntley. Philippa.
Whanganui is my home. My children were born and raised here. I'm a business owner, former radiographer, Olympian and extremely experienced councillor. I founded the Future Champions Trust that has funded over 80 Whanganui sporting youth represent New Zealand internationally. I'm president of the Whanganui Rowing Association and event manager of the Billy Big Challenge. I succeeded in getting the sport and recreation facilities grant funding restored to continue the vital seed funding that supported sports like hockey, netball and football with major upgrades of their facilities. If re-elected for an 8th term, I will, 1, advocate to get maximum value of the $2 million upgrade to the Whanganui Pool. 2, it's time to push on with the business case to replace the Dublin Street Bridge, strengthen the Wakefield Street Bridge, and resurface the WRRA Railway Bridge. 3, advocate for a visitor door charge in the Sarton Gallery, or seek $150,000 operating savings annually. 4, work closely with the Whanganui Surf Lifesaving Club to gain external funding so they can crack on with their rescue centre to support safe beaches. 5, accelerate the establishment of a housing entity to support the plan to build 1,000 affordable homes with partners. 6, task our investment in economic entities to maximise growth and jobs around the huge investment in the port and airport. I voted to retain control of our water assets in-house, and I will reject any further attempts by government to amalgamate our council and services. I am courageous and energetic. I am ratepayer and sport focused. I am in your corner and I seek your support. Thank you, and I didn't hear any bells.
The next speaker from a 90-minute presentation is Scott Phillips. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, my name is Scott Phillips. I grew up in Whanganui and returned here because it's a place that I believe in, and I believe in its people and its future. I have over 20 years experience in the transport industry, and that brings me a practical experience in planning, logistics and delivering results. I also work as a wedding celebrant that has strengthened my ability to listen, speak up and connect with people. I am standing for council to focus on the basics: careful spending, smart planning, housing and youth opportunities are all key to a strong local economy. Whanganui's heritage goes beyond our buildings. Motorsport events like the cemetery circuit, the street drags, speedway and jet sprints are all part of who we are. They boast our local pride, our tourism and business, and they deserve a strong support at the council table. I want to protect what Whanganui has and makes it unique, while planning responsibly for its growth. We have great assets, we need to look after them, use them well, and make sure our economy stays vibrant and future ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Scott. The next speaker will be Julian Emmett.
Thank you. Well, good evening. I'm Julian Emmett. I'm standing for council because I believe I can offer a different perspective on council issues. One of my core issues is on accessibility and how the council can continue the work it has already started to make the lives of its disabled residents easier. I think that the voice of those with disabilities is too often regarded as an afterthought, and I'd like to see that change. We've come quite a way on accessibility in the last decade or so, but we're not quite all the way there yet. And there's pressure on councils to restrict their focus now. I'd like to make sure that we don't backslide on that. That was backslide, not something else that you were thinking. Having said that, I'm also very concerned about our water infrastructure, housing, and looking for ways council can increase its revenue through ethical investment and keeping rates as low as possible during a time when living costs are quickly rising, while providing the services and infrastructure we need to make Whanganui a thriving city. I'm not here with all the answers, but I am here to listen and ensure decisions are made that reflect the needs of everyday people. Thank you, and I look forward to the discussion tonight.
Thank you very much, Julian. And our next speaker will be Rob Vincent. Welcome, Rob.
I'm Rob Vincent, I'm the 6th term councillor. I'm seeking your support for a 7th and final term. So next week, you'll be receiving your voting papers for a very important election. You'll have the opportunity to elect a team of councillors to represent your views on the management and the future of our city and district. Experience is valued in our society. Whether it is in the workplace, whether it's on the sports field, or in grandparents passing down their knowledge to their families, I believe that a blend of experience with some new energy added will make the best council for this district. With the retirements of long-serving councillors Charlie Anderson and Jenny Duncan, I see Jenny here this evening, and Deputy Mayor Helen Craig, plus the resignation of the Chief Executive David Langford and a new CM to be appointed, next term especially will require experienced and disciplined councillors who understand complex issues such as water reform and resource management. Most importantly, next term will require experienced councillors who are focused on lowering the cost of council and know how to make that happen. Rates affordability is our greatest issue. My commitment to you next term, I will not vote for any rate increase above the rate of inflation. I'm seeking your support. I offer my experience, I offer my commitment to minimise rates, and I offer to be accessible for all in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Next speaker, please, Sandra from Kyle. Welcome, Sandra.
I'm Sandra, a retired tertiary lecturer and now a part-time music teacher. And I'm the author of a new book to be launched at Whanganui Library in November called Portraits on My Heart. As a long-time animal advocate, I believe the way that we treat animals reflects the kind of community we are. I'm standing because I want to see a Whanganui that makes decisions with compassion, fairness and respect for all life. When we look after our whānau, our whenua and our environment, we protect the animals who share it with us and create healthier, safer communities for ourselves. I may bring an alternative voice to the council table, but I won't be a divisive one. I am a collaborative and peaceful person, and I fit in with the team. I will get know in the team. My voice of integrity and compassion for all sentient beings will not put dollars above everything else, but will be for the well-being of all the denizens of Whanganui, those who walk on two legs and fall. They have a right to be here too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Welcome to Michael Wall.
Good evening, Whanganui, and thank you for inviting me and 23 other councillors who want to be your councillor. I am a father and husband of 3 children. I have 18 years of business development experience where I focus on bringing costs down while achieving the same outcome. 3 years ago, I stood here and I made you a lot of promises. I said a lot of talk. So I thought I'd come back 3 years later and say what I did. I promised you lower rates. In the first year, I proposed $7 million of cuts that wouldn't have impacted your outcomes. I continue to focus on how do we achieve the same outcome with technological improvements while bringing down those rates. And working with people like our mayor and certain councillors, we've had now a 2.2% rate increase this year. I promised you that I would listen to you, and I would focus on exactly what you wanted, and I would serve you. The Virginia Lake Aviary and the Whanganui East Hall was clear examples of those things, and I've served you for those 3 years. What am I focusing on these next 3 years? Lower your parking, keep rates low, build the bridges, and stop focusing on things that may not be what everybody wants. So if you'd like me to serve you another 3 years, vote law this next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Our next speaker, welcome to Tracy Chan. Tracy.
Born and raised in Whanganui, I own a small lifestyle block within the rural community. And we don't have business in the Waikato, Manawatu and Whanganui areas. I'm a self-motivated and driven person who isn't afraid to face a challenge. With experience in business, disability services, education, youth 100% committed to advocate for all residents. I believe Whanganui's greatest opportunity lies in supporting all businesses to grow. This creates employment and improves the well-being of everyone while preserving what makes Whanganui special. The Council's job is to serve us all, ensuring our infrastructure and services are the best that they can be. Let's cut waste and find cost savings now. I'll support practical, community-driven policies. I believe in empowering our community and to understand the economic pressures we face. I'm ratepayer and community-focused. I do not support partnerships with council or vanity projects if it burdens the ratepayer. I'll focus on keeping rates affordable by prioritising essential services and infrastructure development. I have an understanding of New Zealand legislation and would like to see through governance more scrutiny of reports from operations that follow law, regulation, long-term plans to ensure accountability, transparency and impartiality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tracy, and welcome to Mike Hoss.
Good evening. I am Mike Hoss, and I'm proud to be born and raised in Whanganui. I stand here today, and like you, I'm invested in Whanganui's future. It is no coincidence that the 2.2 average rate increase is an election year. So what's my point of difference, and what makes me an exceptional candidate? I have over 30 years of real practical business ownership and governance experience. My business plans have been robust, my budget's accurate, and I've managed sizable debt. If I didn't make a profit, there was a potential I'd lose my home and business. Some of you here today would have experienced the same thing. You would have had to make hard financial decisions when your rates were due. Things you need you couldn't afford. You had to go without. The 3-year average rate increase for Whanganui was 22.6%. This increase was higher than Auckland. If we face increases like this again, there'll be some of you that will not be able to keep their homes. Some will be forced to sell. For many of us now, the rates feel like a lifetime mortgage. My priority is to have a voice to keep the rate rises to the absolute minimum while investing in smart infrastructure. I will not support loading future generations with unsustainable debt. I have leadership qualities to serve as a strong and rate-focused councillor. A vote for Mike Hoss is a vote for the city's future. A vote for Mike Hoss is a vote for leadership. And a vote for Mike Hoss is for good judgment. Thank you for inviting me here tonight and for your support. And please remember, vote Mike Hoss.
Thank you, Mike. The next speaker will be Arthur Hanger. Welcome, Arthur.
Oh, hello, Whanganui. My name's Uffy Hanger. I'm standing for the Whanganui General Ward seat because I believe our community deserves leadership that's accountable, practical and focused on getting things done, and that's pretty much me. I am a mother of 4 kids, all born and bred here, all adults now, thank goodness, and a caregiver of my grandnephew. I have worked in justice, social services, health and education as a registered social worker and know the challenges our people face. My priorities are clear: affordable housing for our families, stronger infrastructure to keep our city moving forward, real opportunities for our youth, and smarter support for our local businesses. I bring common sense, transparency and a genuine commitment to listening and acting on what ratepayers need. Every dollar should be spent wisely. Whanganui has huge potential and together we can achieve smart growth for a sustainable future in our community. So I'm often told I'm too honest for my own good, so what I can say is vote for Uffy. Thank you very much, everybody.
Of course, the next speaker was going to be Ross Fallon, and the order that we draw to Ross is really quite sad that he's ill today and not able to get out of bed to be here tonight. So we certainly are thinking of him and wish him a speedy recovery. So the next speaker will be Rob Oscroft. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you. Good evening. This is 90 seconds in my longest job interview ever. And it's not just speaking with you guys. I've been out connecting with as many people who have a stake in the city as possible. People on the streets, in cafes and bars, business owners, shopkeepers, community leaders, council members, CEOs when I can. And it's great to hear what they all have to say. Like you, they want to know what will I do if I succeed. Firstly, there's no magic wand, and at best I'll be part of a team of 13 representatives, ideally working together for the good of the city. Here are a few of the things that I'll stand for. 1, rates. We have to keep the rates below inflation. I haven't signed the pledge because I don't have a crystal ball, I can't predict natural disasters, and I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. Still, affordability is my prime directive. It's what I'm here for. 2, optimising parking. This is an example. Parking in the library and art gallery is not sufficient. The $3 meters on Beck Ave haven't increased spend according to shopkeepers that I've spoken to. Beyond Reserve, Ridgeway Street's $22 parking is mostly empty. So I'll work for a regular optimisation of parking and traffic based on good data, analysis and a long-term strategy. 3, we need to shorten the distance between governance, operations and community stakeholders. In other words, the council staff and the people of the city who are here to serve. I'll work for better, more open and effective conversations so we get the desired results.
Thank you very much, Rob. And our next speaker, welcome to Kate Job.
Goals of council over the next 3 years must include rates and cost control. We must be a high-performing council, and jointly with WRRA, we must develop an effective 3 waters entity. I don't like to think of myself as a one-trick pony, but my particular passion is housing. I've been council's housing champion for the last 6 years, and we're on the cusp of creating a housing entity that will enable investment at scale in more social housing. The goal over the next 10 years is to create a further 1,000 homes. First up, we'll be transferring the council existing 275 pension units and some pockets of land to an independent housing trust. Once funding, central government funding is secured, the pensioner units will be redeveloped, refurbished, and where appropriate, intensified. Current tenants will have security of tenancy through the whole process. Council must also work closely with community and church groups, where we might have some land, a community or church group might have funds, and together we'll drive a building project. For this housing plan to work, enthusiasm will not be enough. We need to be very thoughtful, well considered and deliberate. I've been involved in governance most of my adult life and a chartered accountant, and would like your support to push forward on these goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. The next speaker we welcome is Robin Westley.
Good evening and thanks for coming out this evening. My name is Robin Westley and I'm standing for council. So why should you vote for me? Because I care about bringing people together and making sure everyone has a voice. I'm not standing to promote myself, I'm standing because I believe our community is stronger when we look out for one another. I've already been working alongside local groups, volunteers and churches to support those who need it most. I want to carry out that same spirit into this role. A vote for me is really a vote for more connected and caring Whanganui. I'm available at any time to meet with different groups, and I mean that before the election, and if I'm successful after the election as well, I'll be happy to meet with you and discuss anything. I'm a solution-focused person. I know it's very easy to point the finger and say, this was a previous council problem, or that's central government. Stuff that we go in and we find the solution and we work towards it. I'm a big fan of sorting out the bridges over east, of Whanganui East. The Wakefield Bridge and replacement is urgent. It's holding up residents and businesses who use that area. I'd like to see a 4-lane bridge replace the Dublin Street Bridge in time and organise the finances through central government. I've got a lot more I stand for, but those girls are telling me it's time to shut up, so I will, and thank you for coming out again.
Thanks a lot, Robin. And the next speaker, a big welcome to ASIANZ.
Good evening. in Whanganui for over 15 years. I am a mother of 3 and a small business owner with a background in architecture, design and community development. I'm standing because I believe our council must focus on getting the basics right. Reliable services, fair rates and a city that works both for the residents and for businesses. My top 3 priorities are clear. 1. Strengthen core infrastructure, ensuring essential services run smoothly. That means roads, water and waste done well, while ensuring that Whanganui is resilient in cases of floods and other emergencies. 2. Keeping rates fair and sustainable by tying increases to household affordability, cutting wasteful spending and keeping debt within reasonable levels. And 3. Backing local jobs and businesses by cutting red tape, using local suppliers where possible, and promoting many events and opportunities that bring visitors and investments into our city. I bring integrity, pragmatism and common sense to the table. My goal is to build bridges, literal bridges that connect our city and our people, and metaphorical bridges that create win-win outcomes, unite our community and strengthen Whanganui's future. A vote for me is a vote for real solutions for Whanganui. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophia. And the next speaker, a big welcome to Jason Bardell.
Well, we're just looking at motions taken nothing. That's what I'm about. Jason Bardell, I'm about back to basics. Conveniently written at the bottom of here, pretty much what I'm about. Getting council back to what it should be doing. Something that no one's talked about tonight, or touched on slightly, is debt. And the council debt. In 2022, the council debt was 152 million. In 2026, it's going to be 232 million. $80 million increase in just 4 years. That's how much overspend the current council has done. We need to get this back under control quickly by focusing on the essentials. While we're spending $80 million on an art gallery, we haven't replaced the bridge in Whanganui East. These are the sort of priorities we need to readjust quickly. That's what I'm all about. Back to basics. Jason Bardell, vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Our next speaker will be Charlotte Nelson.
Kia ora, good evening. My name is Charlotte Nelson. I am running for re-election. I've lived in Castlecliff since 2010, and I have a background in hospitality, events, community development, and business. I'm a mum of twin boys, and I could not imagine a better place to raise a family. In 2016, I built the Citadel Cafe in Castlecliff to act as a community hub alongside the Castlecliff Rejuvenation Project, which was a successful collaboration between community and council. During my term on council, I've held the portfolios of youth, arts, climate and environment, and I'm also an accredited RMA and District Plan Hearings Commissioner. I chair the road naming panel, I sit on the Regional Public Transport Group, and serve as Deputy Chair of the Strategy and Policy Committee. I'm standing for re-election to continue the work that I've started, championing strong community partnerships, youth development, climate action, and future-focused planning. I bring a collaborative approach to everything that I do. I have strong communication skills, and I don't shy away from the tough conversations. I have a strong work ethic, and I am dedicated to helping make Whanganui a better place for all. And just lastly, I would like to thank you all so much for coming this evening, because democracy is only as strong as the number of people that engage with it. So thank you so much, and let's make democracy stronger.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Our next speaker, Michael. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, business owner, operator and company director with extensive commercial and life experience. I support the rigorous curtailing of rates, promising that I will not vote for any rates increase greater than the official inflation rate over the term of my office. I commit to supporting the sensible and frugal allocation of council resources, always scrutinising the bottom line. I support the provision of first hour free parking in our retail precinct and the lowering of parking meter fees in conjunction with central government direction. The Sergeant Gallery must earn its keep, no buts, starting with charging out of district visitors. I support Whanganui's economic growth by promoting our district to potential businesses and new residents, highlighting our unique character, architecture, heritage, climate and supportive community. I support council retaining control of our water supply and associated infrastructure. I oppose mandatory fluoridation. I oppose divisive race-based water ownership and control. I oppose rigorously divisive race-based co-governance. I oppose the driving of divisive extremist agendas by activist councillors. I oppose wasting council resources on divisive and conjectural international topics. That is not the business of council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Next speaker, a big welcome to Tony Satter.
Hello there. Welcome and thank you all for coming along today. My name is Tony Sunderman and I'm proud to say I was born and raised right here in Whanganui. Growing up in the 80s and 90s was a different experience to what I feel Whanganui is today. As a kid, it was a wonderful place full of beautiful spaces to explore. Felt safe enough to explore every nook and cranny. Each day would be an adventure. But as a teenager in rural New Zealand, things felt limited. Weekends revolved around a few mainstream sports, and for many of us, that didn't quite meet our needs. Job opportunities were limited. Once school was up, it was time to pack up and leave to explore New Zealand and the world. After my adult adventures exploring new countries and experiencing their cultures different to mine, I was in my mid-30s. I was looking for something relaxed, but with a nice vibe. I wanted to grow my family and catch up with the olds and my relatives. That's when Whanganui came back into view. I began to see the city with fresh eyes, a beautiful, accessible town with little traffic, easy commutes, good schools, and a growing alternative scene, which I thought I could be part of. So I opened up a bar, but the challenge remains. Once young people finish secondary school, opportunities to stay in Whanganui are limited. In the past, we had the world-renowned Whanganui School of Design, which attracted people from across New Zealand and even overseas. It gave Whanganui a point of difference that sets us apart from other centres. Whanganui also has a rich and fascinating history reflecting in our beautiful heritage buildings. These are becoming increasingly rare as modern developments take their place. Our heritage is one of the things that make us unique and it's worth protecting. Just look at Vintage Weekend, one of the city's biggest and most distinctive events. It draws thousands of people and brings real money to the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. And last but certainly not least, a big welcome to WRRA.
My name is Jay Dedekura and I was born and bred on the banks of the Whanganui River. As long as you count the Whanganui Hospital as the banks of the river. I'm a son, like most of the males in here tonight. I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm an uncle. I'm many things, but one of the things that I'm mostly is proud to be a Whanganui citizen. I've got nearly 20 years experience in community development here in Whanganui. I have over 20 years of experience in local governance here in Whanganui. I'm a business owner, I'm a consultant, a few other names that people call me as well, but I'm for Whanganui. I'm for Whanganui. We have massive infrastructure issues that are coming up in the next wee while. We've got the Dublin Street Bridge, the Wakefield Street Bridge. All of these things are really important. I'm for the people of Whanganui. We have massive housing issues in Whanganui. We have homelessness issues. I'm for future-focused decision making. So with everything that I do, if I'm elected into council, I will be putting a lens of the future over all of that. So, yeah, JV Kura, for Whanganui, for the people, and for future focused decision making. Kia ora.
I've got to say, I'm amazed. I didn't think we'd do that as quickly as we have. Thank you so much, all of you. Well done. Give them a big hand, actually. Especially if you're a new candidate. Now, I didn't think we'd be through this quick, and I'm really pleased that we are, because we're going to vary the program a bit. We're all going to play whole games and kumbaya. I think what we'll do is we'll have some questions. Now, this is how it's going to work. Someone who wants to ask, if you want to ask a question in a minute, you'll hold up your hand, and if you're selected, you will stand and say your first name and your second name, and these guys down here will be in one each aisle with microphones. Please don't speak until you have the microphone, because deaf old kids like me do need the microphone. So announce your question. Please play the ball and not the man, and please restrict your time to under 1 minute when you're presenting the question. We will then ask the candidates on the stage here who would like to answer that question, and of course being councillors will just ignore that and pick someone else probably. So if you could raise your hand if you want to answer the question, and then I will select someone to answer it. So who would like to ask a question? Just down here, please. Thank you.
It's about parking. I need disabled parking, and I'm found out that you have to pay in that avenue, even with disabled, and I can't afford to park on that avenue because I have to go somewhere in the avenue, so I have to walk quite long distances from the parking lot I can't afford. So why is disabled parking charged?
Who would like to answer that question? Great to see such enthusiasm. Michael Organ?
Now, I don't know why it is being charged for, but I would recommend, if I was elected, that it should not be charged for. Obviously, there need to be a time limit, but being disabled parking would indicate that the preponderance of people who use it would be disabled and perhaps a little slower to get things done. So I would think at least 2 hours would be fair. That's speaking off the cuff, but to me it's an option.
Thank you for raising it. It's a good valid issue. We do have disabled parks, as you know. We possibly need more. We have to make sure that disabled people can get parks, in the main street as possible. I guess in brief, our 6-point plan, we need to raise non-rates revenue, and parking is generally cost-neutral and widely expected to be charged right in the centre of towns. So I'm not going to go and say we're going to suddenly just get rid of charging for disabled people, but I think you raise a valid issue, and do we need further disabled parking, or could we look to lower the price just for disabled parking?
Thank you very much, Philippa. Anyone else have a question? Would you raise your hand if you have? Yes, up there, sir. Up there, Tim. He's standing up now. Thank you.
My name's Peter Hawkins. So there's a number of councils in New Zealand that have called for sanctions and as well for the genocide in Gaza, and a lot of others have just got their too hard basket. If elected, would you vote for an expression of support for sanctions on Israel?
Thank you very much. Who would like to answer that question? And someone that hasn't asked one before. Yes, Mike Hoss.
No, sorry, I would not.
Just get a clarification. Are you saying
chair side. Is that your position?
I'm happy to comment further. If I get elected to council, I'll be definitely putting all my effort into Whanganui concerns. I'm fully supportive of international concerns, but that's an issue for the government.
The saying that goes, if you want to see change in the world, be that change in the world, and I would be
Another question over here, sir. Go behind you. Right behind you.
Good evening, folks. My name's Phil Realty, and you probably see me here on Tuesday night. Just a show of hands of all the councillors running for council. Show of hands, do you support Māori awards? I already know one or two. So show of hands. Thank you very much.
All right, next question, please. Here with his hand up, Colin.
All right, can I speak to that? Because that's a very reductive question.
Thank you. I just want to speak to that because I think it's a very reductive yes, no, and are you on one side of this divisive line or not? And this is an issue that I put a lot of thought in because I know it's going to come up and I know it's an important issue for a lot of people, and it's just like the other question that just came, it's a very divisive issue, like people get really worked up on either sides. And I really think this whole us and them, we've got the people for, the people against, it's destructive for the community. I think that's really bad for a start, so I just want to put that out there. The next thing I want to say is what's the end point? Because maybe we want similar things, we just disagree on how to get there. So for me, I think if I do become a councillor, I will actually be glad that this time there are Māori awards because I'll be working with more Māori councillors and I look forward to that.
Charlotte, I think you want to.
At the same time, I think if I was on the Māori roll, I would be so upset at only having 2 votes. Because I would want to be able to vote for everyone who represents me.
Thank you,
Mayoral. And kia ora, Beth, for your question. It's interesting because this is a divisive issue, but I don't think it needs to be. Democracy requires broad representation. That is why we have 12 councillors and a mayor, in theory, to be able to represent all corners of our community. Historically, Whanganui District Council has had an appalling underrepresentation of Māori, despite having a higher than the national average population of Māori. So I see Māori awards as a democratic tool to bridge that gap. Hopefully one day in the future, I'm optimistic that maybe we won't need Māori awards. Maybe we will more easily have equal representation, but we don't right now. So Māori voices deserve to be at the table, and I'm grateful for our council to have voted for it this way.
Thank you, Graham.
My name is Colin Anderson. My question to the candidates, and probably raise of hands if it's yes and not if it's no. With 60% of council expenditure being on the 3 waters, will you ensure the remaining council rates, staffing levels, and overheads are reduced accordingly?
Who would like to answer that one? Michael Law, right?
That's when the CCO is created, which has already been voted for.
No, I think if Michael wants to speak, but I'd like to hear him speak.
Rob's employer of infrastructure, if you have a better answer than me.
Thank you very much. Colin, you've highlighted the problem that's going to occur in the future. In the future, You're going to get a bill from Horizons, you're going to get a bill from the Whanganui District Council, and you're going to get a third bill from the water company. The question is, will the bill from a water company be higher or lower than it would have been if the council was billing that, those water services? I think there is a vacuum that's created there by the Whanganui Council's rates lowering, and there are elected members right around the country that are eyeing that vacuum and seeing what we can fill it with. Things that council aren't already in or aren't in at this moment. That's my concern, and I think it's quite inflationary what we've done.
Thank you very much, Rob. So, can we have a yes, no vote, or sorry, is there? Rob.
Yeah, well, the separation of the water thing's a huge one. Like you say, is it going to drive costs up? And I think it's a drop of the ball straight away with sending out 3 different bills. Why would we do that? Send out one bill. Why start another department to send out another bill? Like, we need to work collaboratively together as one unit rather than just inventing new water and, you know, Horizons, that probably needs to disappear as well. We need to be one united council for one area. Why have multiples and multiple bills? Everyone needs to work together as one unit rather than driving multiple costs, having multiple different identities, having CEOs and all the rest of it. We need to stick together. Back to basics. Jackson Mayoral.
Thank you very much, Jason. So we're now going to have a yes and no vote. And I think, if I got it correctly, that the yes no vote says with the new water done well arrangement and some of the rating imposts, or some of the expenses, sorry, going to the new CCO authority, will in actual fact that mean that with the CCO rates and your council rates, will they increase or decrease? So if you think they're going to decrease, put your hand up. If you think they are going to increase, put your hand up. Yes, so fair enough. Will the council be restrained in the future allocation of rates because of the new CCO water done well? Is that better? Rob?
The key question here is, will the Whanganui District Council's rates come down more or less than the bill you get from the water company?
That's what I was trying to say. No, you're doing good. You're doing good. So all those that think they will come down, please raise your hand. All those that think they won't come down, please raise your hand.
I'm going to try this. Will you stand for keeping the rates low instead of filling more? So will you stand for keeping the rates low?
I'd like to ask you about climate change. It's barreling down towards us. We live in a city where the tiny bow wags its tail up periodically. We didn't ever thought of the plans we had up to the last time, 2015, along Anzac Parade. Can I get an opinion from you about this? Because keeping rates down is all very well, but keeping us all safe is something else. We have a huge vulnerable population as it is, and we're going to finish up more if we don't plan. Thank you.
Charlotte, you've already answered one question. If we can, would anyone know your answer? Michael Law.
This is really not my question, but has have some fun. So I was against and actually wanted to lower the climate change funding. And the reason why I cut it, I recommended cutting it, was because of the outcomes. We spent more money on consultancies than the outcomes of the people. We spent more money on people running around thinking about what to do than getting outcomes for people. So that's why I'm against climate change funding from the council level. Now, Horizons, where's the Horizon councillors? Go to your Horizon councillors, they've got lots of money for that. But from a Whanganui District Council point of view, if what we can achieve can help the climate and resilience and planning for catastrophic river floods, absolutely, let's do it. But it must be outcome focused. And one of those key examples of that is what can the council do to lower our emissions, to prepare our people for the future, to have civil defence. Those outcomes I support. I don't support projects that may or may not create outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else that hasn't spoken would like to speak to the issue of climate change and funding? We need to stick to 1 minute, and we've got time for one more question before we break. The person over in the aisle raising his hand there, halfway up. We've got the right one.
Kia ora, Keith Wojtry. I had a lovely day today at Toropuruhi Bushy Park with 100 students from Whanganui East School. They were experiencing our natural heritage and they loved every minute of it. Now, the council, through the Climate Change Fund, incidentally, used to support that at that level, and they cut it when the climate change funding was halved, and the only people here who voted against that were Charlotte and Kate. I don't see anybody else who were among the four who voted not to cut the Climate Change Action Fund. We need it. It's real, as that woman said. The question I want to ask is, you guys voted $4.8 million to support our cultural heritage via the art gallery, which is going really well, has lots of visitors. So does Bushy Park. Put your hand up if you would like to see a line in our next long-term plan to support natural heritage, such as what we're doing at Toropuruhi Bushy Park, as well as supporting cultural heritage. I'd just like to know the councillors I want to vote for are the ones who will put natural heritage protection in there with the cultural heritage. Put your hand up if you believe in it for the next 10-year plan. Thank you. That will be a revolution.
Thank you very much. Now that is the end of the unscheduled question time. We're now going to have a break at 7 o'clock. We will reconvene at 7:15 for the formal part of the question time. Thank you very much for your attendance. It's so great to see such a crowd of you tonight. Thank you. Enjoy your 15-minute break.